This guy had shaved his head and painted a blue arrow on the top, and he was like, "I want my hair back." That was his reaction to that movie.
Nice.
How do you feel about horror movies, and why?
Uh, I am not a fan. Okay, I am a fan of character horror movies like Freddy and Jason I can watch, but Event Horizon when it came out, I had to watch it twice to make it through it. Like the first time I went to the video
Yeah.
store, I rented it, popped in the tape and played it, and right around the time when
Hmm.
Sam Neill digs his eyes out, I was like, nope.
I watched a movie called Martyrs, and that's probably the scariest movie I ever saw.
Oh,
Up to a point, it's like a German film or something.
yeah.
Uh, the movie starts off very terrifying, and I mean, if you're the type to get scared by movies, anyway, and then it just becomes bad after a point.
I was a horror movie buff until The Ring, and I don't watch horror movies anymore.
This movie is partially inspired by The Omen, or at least the script was.
Okay.
Also inspired,
That came out right on the heels of it too, didn't it?
yeah,
The Omen was a remake of an older movie though, right?
I don't know.
If I remember correctly.
Not,
There's an old The Omen.
That was the scary adopted kid, right?
yeah. I actually don't know the backstory.
Okay. I'm sorry.
What was the one where the guy's like an ambassador for France or something, and his child is the devil? What was that one? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. I did not see it because it looked too scary, but I know what you're talking about.
That
And I think that might have been The Omen.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't remember the name. That could be The Omen. I mean, that was all right.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. Anyway, The Orphanage is not that. It is a horror movie. However, it is not give you nightmares scary. Okay? And I want to make this as clear as I can without ruining the film.
Right.
Okay.
Is it a movie that you turn off the lights to watch and then you decide, yeah, we can have the lights on while we watch this one? Is it that kind of scary?
Yeah, it's one of the it has one of the more frightening scenes I've ever seen. And slight spoiler, not really. There is no violence in this movie. Zero.
Hey, that was my next question.
Yeah, no blood. Not that I can recall anyway. It just terrifies you with the setup.
So just dread,
The
just
tension. Yeah.
Really?
Is huge. So this movie, it was made, it's a Spanish film, and I hope that's correct, Spanish. Co-produced by Guillermo del Toro. So if you're into Guillermo del Toro, you'll see a lot of his style, or actually, I should say, if you're familiar with his work, you'll see a lot of his influence. He's not the director or the writer, but he was, call him an advisor.
Okay, I was
If
going to
you
say,
will.
how much stylistic influence does a producer have?
Depends on the exact role of the producer. For example, Spielberg was a producer on Super 8.
It had a
And
very
that-
Spielberg feel to it.
Yeah, well, that movie was designed to be in his style anyway,
Yeah.
which is a fitting that he would be a producer.
So sometimes producers take like a mentor role for
Yeah.
a film, and then sometimes they're just trying to get
Yeah,
gears greased or wheels greased
Mhm.
or something. Okay.
and then you also have like a studio executive who will do some backseat driving to get you to fit what the company wants.
Oh, got you. So like, make sure wide audience appeal type thing.
Yeah, all that
if
kind of
that's what
stuff.
they're trying to go for.
Yeah. And then if they have any deals for product placement, then you'll have advertising agents or executives there
Mhm.
to make sure that it's done in an appropriate way.
Really, like
For
ensuring a
example.
flattering use of the product
Yeah,
and that the Coke logo faces the camera at all times.
exactly. There can be a lot of hands in the making of a movie. So, for example, a co-producer or a creative producer,
Right.
I think would be a more appropriate title.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So The Orphanage is scary, but it is not your typical horror film. And unfortunately, I can't really explain that too much. Let's
Yeah.
just say it's genre breaking.
Oh, nice.
You can't define it as easily as you might think from the trailer, especially from the American trailer or the English language trailer. It's not that.
Yeah, the English trailer has the in a world guy, right?
Yeah, and it is terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my God. If you've seen that trailer, just forget it. Forget what you've seen. Brief rundown of the story. This, gosh, I have to piece it together in my mind right now without spoiling anything. But this woman moves to an old orphanage. And I believe that her intention is to open it back up, or her family is just buying it as a big house for themselves. It's not terribly important, at least in the beginning of the movie, the significance of this place. And then while she's there, her son, who 7, 8 years old, I'm not good at kids' ages, but her son makes imaginary friends, and it ends up they're not so imaginary, and they play games with him. And one of the games that they play is they steal something of his, and then they leave a clue where that thing was, and he has to solve the clue to find this item that they stole. All right, this is the game. So I forget what they stole, but they stole something of his. And so he finds the clue, follows the clue, and when he gets there, he gets the next clue. And he has to follow this chain of clues, right? Well, the clues eventually lead him to this cave. And this is not a spoiler because it happens in the first half hour of the film. Like, this is the setup for the film. He follows these clues to a cave, and the cave is on the waterfront. So he goes inside, and then high tide comes in and drowns him. Okay. Except they're never able to find his body. And so his mother, who's really the main character in this movie, begins searching for him. And lo and behold, there's a clue waiting for her.
Oh man,
That just
And
sounds
then-
like terrible.
Oh, it's terrifying.
It sounds like you'd just be stressed the hell out the entire time you're watching it.
Oh yeah, it's a roller coaster of emotion, and it's amazing because there is no violence. There's off the top of my head, I can't think of any jump scares. There might be one here or there, but it's not that kind of movie.
yeah.
It's just excellent execution of an idea and a script. That's all you can really say about it.
Oh, it sounds.
Yeah.
It sounds like a bad. And I would say that's one of the big things that turns me off to horror is that I don't like feeling bad experiences. And when a movie is well made and it involves you in the experience too, it sounds like you're not happy while you're watching it, and you're just stressed out.
You
high strung.
you have to get through it. That's the biggest thing. If you can get through this movie, it's so rewarding in the end.
It become something you have to endure as you watch it.
You could say that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, there are moments that are terrible. I mean, in the frightening sense.
Is it kind of silent the whole time because she's by herself, or is there?
She's not really by herself.
Okay.
So, I mean, let me think, because unfortunately it's been a while since I watched this.
Mhm.
I was meaning to rewatch it just for this review, but I didn't. And so she goes there by herself, and I do believe her husband gets called away. So it's her and her son, and then
Right.
her son goes missing. So then it is really her.
Hmm.
But there are other characters that
Okay.
come and go.
I was just picturing like this silent scariness that would just escalate.
Yeah, there's some of that too.
The trailer featured like little kids with burlap sacks on their heads.
There's one child with the burlap sack, and that comes into the story more the further you get into it. I can't really talk about it. Unfortunately, I can't really say much about it. But
It's not a twist that you're avoiding spoiling, though, is it?
no,
Okay.
The
no. But after seeing the ending, if you were to rewatch the film, it would change your perception of what you saw.
the preview that we've watched like gives no inclination that this is as intelligent as
The
what you
trailer is terrible.
Yeah, like the trailer makes you think Insidious or something like that. Like
Yeah.
this is doesn't sound like that at all.
Mm-mm.
And does it achieve the dreadful feeling? Is it through score? Is it through light? What are they doing to make you
good-
feel so awful?
Good question about score. I can't remember off the top of my head. Light. I would say it's in the silence. So there's a video out. Have you ever heard of it's either a YouTube or Vimeo channel called Every Frame a Painting?
I have not. And now I feel like looking for
It's
that.
something to look out for. So this guy, whoever makes these videos, he did one on Martin Scorsese, and it's called The Art of Silence or something like that, because Martin Scorsese likes to put silence in his movies for effect, and it does a lot of that. Yeah, I'd say that's done very well. A lot of it is the quiet before the storm.
Right.
Like there's that anticipation, but instead of going for the jump scare, like what you might see in Friday the 13th, it goes a different direction.
Oh, nice.
And
Yeah.
you don't feel startled by the movie. You're bracing yourself for that, though.
That's the worst part. The worst part is knowing what's coming, or at least thinking you know what's coming, and it's terrifying.
Are the clues she finding explain the story of what happened to the kids? Is that part of it?
It explains the backstory of yeah.
Okay.
It explains the backstory of the world,
Yeah. So you're getting
not
told,
specifically the kids, but
Right.
yeah,
So you're getting told,
yeah,
like, while she finding clues, you're like finding more about the past,
Yeah.
and then it all comes together at the
Mhm.
very end.
exactly, yeah.
That
And
sounds awesome.
the best way to describe this movie is it's like a roller coaster. So say you're the type who gets frightened by roller coasters, and then when you get off, your reaction might be, "Oh, let's do that again," because you're a what do you call it? Adrenaline junkie,
Yeah.
and you need that experience. It's like that.
Oh,
That's a
nice.
good way to describe this film.
Got it. I don't want to feel bad. This is my problem with it. This is my only problem with it.
No, I really have. I can't think of a horror film I've seen since The Ring. Like, I really mean that. Like, I saw Saw. Was that after The Ring?
Round about the same point, but I think it was after.
Yeah, like I completely, like, Insidious, all those things I've completely cut out of my life because The Ring did me in well. But I can give this a try.
It
Well,
did that because The Ring scared you or it turned you off too?
Scared me super. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I could watch it and say this isn't as scary as Event Horizon or Screamers or other things I've seen, but for some reason it connected to me in a way where, like, I didn't watch TV for 3 days and swear on anyone's life.
Yeah.
I'll swear on my life that the
Yeah.
first thing that happened when I turned on the TV was a commercial for The Ring and her hand was coming out of the well.
Oh,
Oh, and you're like, come
But
on.
I did recover from that well. I did like I didn't turn it back
Right.
off and walk away. I was like, it's just a commercial. But I just that was like a funny moment in my life. I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding.
do you have a VCR in your house?
I think we don't have any in this house, but like I
think
used
there's
to.
Yeah. Well, then you're
two.
safe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just throw all your VCRs
No,
away. You're
I
not going
was-
to use them anyway.
I was a mess. Like, I couldn't static TV bothered me. Like, everything. Like I've seen scarier movies than that, but for some reason it hit me so
Mhm.
hard that I can't reenact
Yeah.
that kind of level of
It's like
fear.
Psycho, how they make you afraid of a shower. That's
Right.
something you have to experience.
Yeah.
Every so often at least.
Maybe I got to try rewatching Psycho, but I look forward to my shower.
Well, it's definitely not. It's definitely not what it
Yeah.
used to be
Mhm.
by today's standards. But
Yeah, well, it's funny when you watch Psycho. You
Or
think
Jaws.
Everything's cliche in Psycho, but you're like, wait a second.
Yeah, this is where
Mhm.
these came from.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
this isn't cliche. This is.
I don't know about
this is
you guys,
real.
but I grew up in an apartment complex until the age of 12 or so, and there was a pool in the center. And if I was in there by myself, I was convinced that like there was a shark in there.
Oh, I'm still that way right now. Like 4-foot pool,
Yeah.
alligator, shark. Like
Mhm.
I can't enjoy an above ground pool for very long, or I get creeped out. Like, I swim fast because of that. Like, I grew up thinking sharks were in the river I grew up by. So, like, when I got in the river by jumping in, I swam back as fast as I could. I was actually a pretty fast swimmer.
And instead
Pure
it was just
fear.
benzene in the river because
Yeah.
of where you
Yeah.
grew up. Like,
Yeah, the Ohio River is not
Yeah.
that great of a river. But no, I can't. I really have shut down. I can watch pre-Ring. Like, I've watched Event Horizon again. But
Yeah, I was disappointed by that, seeing it again. I was
Yeah.
like, what? How? This is just weird.
I don't know. If you update the computer graphics, I think that movie holds up very well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because the computer graphics just take you out
Yeah.
of it.
Well, and by the end, when it gets kind of broader and, when it's, I don't want to say action like, but it devolves from really cramped horror corridors to big open spaces.
It's been like a couple years. No, it's been less than a year since I watched it, and I think it does. Event Horizon balances out the horror and the sci-fi very well. Actually, like,
Sure.
it like
I'd say so.
it ramps up and down and like gives you both on an even pace. Like there is a part where the horror gets ridiculous, like when they show the camera crew,
Yeah. When
Yeah.
the dude eating his own fist, like that's.
Yeah.
But like,
Ugh.
but the sci-fi horror, the alien like sci-fi horror and the just horror kind of just fluctuate really well.
Yeah.
I never liked the ending of it. I don't know why.
No, because it, again, big open spaces and
Yeah.
bright orange fire colors and stuff.
And it's not entirely plausible
Mhm.
either. that this guy is drawn to insanity.
Yeah.
Right? Spoiler.
I mean, there was a Ren and Stimpy episode, Space Madness, that kind of handled those themes better as well.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, Happy Happy Joy Joy is a mind control machine as well. So
Perhaps. Yeah.
but no, yeah, I can't. I haven't invested in anything. I haven't watched. What's the one with the video camera? It's
Go on.
where like it's the guy filming in his bedroom.
Oh,
yeah.
Paranormal Activity.
I haven't watched those.
No, me neither.
Watch the first one.
Was it
Yeah.
scary?
The first one is a great movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
It looked boring. Like it looked
You
boring,
might-
but too scary for me.
Let me put it this way: it's not good enough that I would tell you have to watch it, but it's good.
I think it's interesting that because people were kind of burned out on that, and they kind of like brought it back because like the Blair Witch, and then we had a whole bunch of Blair Witch, and then like they like
It's like
refreshed it.
it's a refreshed take on Blair Witch. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good way to put it. It was made for something like $10,000.
Mhm.
I don't
Oh.
remember the number.
No, I'll
But-
watch The Orphanage. The sad thing is, I want to get back into horror because I was just a geek on horror. Like it was another one of my.
I
Like-
think very few did it well. I mean, I watched The
Yeah.
Exorcist recently. I loved The Exorcist.
Good movie.
But that's a great movie that happens to be scary. Happens to be absolutely
Well,
terrifying.
the horror I liked was the B movie horror. Like,
Okay, like gore film.
yeah, I
Like
mean,
early Peter
I like
Jackson.
I love The Exorcist. Don't
Or
get me
Zack
wrong,
Snyder.
but the like there's this real bad one called Screamers. It's a B movie where like they're on this separate planet. They're on this planet that was at war, and they built robots that stayed in the ground and would jump up and cut people's heads off. And
I feel like I've heard of that.
and it escalates into that they have become sentient and created humans that are human killing machines, and it's just an action horror film. It's really bad. It's a B movie. But I loved it so much. It was just like it's like that's my niche is like
That's my jam.
yeah, the B horror movie is like what I was like my love interest was in, like just bad.
Have you
Love
watched
gore.
Peter Jackson's Dead Alive?
Yes.
It's so disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't actually think I even finished watching that.
The one genre I never got into big was zombies. I don't know why, like they existed.
What about George Romero zombies?
No,
Really?
I've watched them and
What about George Romero, Zack Snyder zombies?
I saw the
Zack Snyder's awesome.
Yeah.
That movie.
Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead.
Something
and
like that.
There's another one. I watched the first two, and then like by that time I was like, I just didn't get into it. I don't know why.
Mhm.
Like the whole zombie video game phenomenon that's happening right now. Feel the same way about that. I just don't
Mhm.
care.
The zombies, just call it a genre.
Yeah.
The zombie genre is so diversified now.
Mhm.
Is there any part of it that appeals to you particularly?
28 Days Later was excellent.
Yeah.
Like,
Where it's like a rage virus and they just run really fast.
I Am Legend is not
it's
kind of zombie.
it's
but
more of a
not-
vampire movie, if anything.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Like, I get it. I like 20 Days Later is a good example of where they did the humans being so bad. Like, I like if like where they show humanity has deteriorated. Like zombies are the bad guys, but it's really humanity is still the ultimate bad guy type of
Yeah.
thing. But like when it comes to like zombies and consumerism being compared to each other, like I don't.
Consumer. Which movie are you talking about now?
It's kind of like
I totally see the comparison.
yeah.
Like-
Yeah.
Yeah, like, can I watch it? Which one does compare that?
Well, the specific like when they happen in the mall and like everything's like
Dawn of the Dead.
yeah, Dawn of the Dead. So the zombies are like it's like you are surrounded by all of our consumerist things,
Yeah.
and now it's worthless because you're being attacked by zombies. Then-
Sure.
I never
Well,
picked that message out of the movie. That
Yeah.
movie did maintain a hell of a stress level, though,
Yeah, like
because then the either pre or post credit roll
right.
where they get to a place and
Yeah.
it just sucks there too.
That's unfortunate.
yeah, like, oh no,
Yeah.
Did you know that's the guy from Modern Family? The actor? The
there,
dad?
there are many. Oh, okay.
The
Is it?
yeah. He's like a jerkish character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never put that together. Yeah,
Yeah. I only found out because I looked it up on IMDb and I saw his name and
I'm-
I was like, wow.
I'm pretty good at, like remembering faces
Right.
throughout movies.
That
I
is
didn't-
not the character that he's known for anymore.
No. First time no, it doesn't matter. Like Kelsey Grammer did a TV show where he was a news anchor, and that's the first time I saw the dad from that. Like the first time I recognized the dad because he was like the on-street reporter, and the show only lasted a season. It was the mom from Everyone Loves Raymond and Kelsey Grammer, and they were doing news reporting, and he was like the on the street reporter, playing a similar character but kind of a jerk. But no, yeah, like the zombie genre, I like it just never hit me. Where like because there's fanatics, and then I'm just not there. Like Shaun of the Dead is excellent.
Oh yeah, I absolutely loved it.
But when it comes I'm not just down for any zombie movie, if that makes sense. Like
No, it was your recommendation when we went and saw Warm Bodies.
Speaking of actors,
Warm Bodies wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
Warm Bodies is a girl movie.
Yeah,
You know what? It was better than I thought it'd be.
I made it through the whole thing. I'll give you that
Yeah.
much.
The only movie I've walked out of the theater was Garfield.
Oh, don't
You're like,
blame me.
why
I
were you
walked
even
out
there?
of Moulin Rouge, and then
Did you?
Yeah, and then found out that like it got good the second we left. Like I remember when I left, and then I kept hearing that it was excellent. And I was like, "There's no way." And then me and Shannon said, me and my wife said, we were going to sit here and we're going to watch it. And then it was literally the next scene. It like went on the.
Oh, that's too bad.
And I was like, "Wow, we were literally seconds away."
I've never seen either of those movies, but I could tell you what movie I got close to missing was Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh
right?
yeah, that is good.
The first 5 minutes of that movie, or 10 minutes, which has been cut out from the current version on Netflix.
Is that the truth?
Yeah, like you know how they're in the frat house. And
Nope, never watched it because it looked so terrible.
Oh god,
It's good. It's really
really
good.
That movie also genre breaking. Not entirely, but it's like a satire, really, if anything.
So it was good enough and opened bad enough that the makers of the film recognized this and removed
Whoever
the scenes.
was in charge of that decision,
Wow,
cut out the first 5 or so minutes, probably because they had collected enough data that people were turning it off in that first 5 minutes. Like it is really bad, and
wow.
but in the intention of that scene is to make fun of similar movies, because the whole movie, as I mentioned, satire. It makes fun of the genre, right?
The closest similarity would be a Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah,
I still didn't watch
I
that
can
either.
see that.
Oh, that's really good.
It's good. It's good.
I
I wouldn't say it's great.
I guess it's really good.
You
From
know, when I
my
walked-
angle, I thought it was not going to be anything but like I didn't know what I was getting into. So when I walked in, I was like, "This is awesome!" Like I didn't know anything about it.
Well, you knew it was Joss Whedon.
That's the only thing.
And that's
I knew.
probably all you needed to know.
Yeah.
So as far as Tucker and Dale versus Evil, or Dale and Tucker, I forget which one. The movie opens with like the guy's in a frat house, and they're doing the thing where they're tossing around a football and drinking or whatever, and there's a girl walking around in her bra. It's typical, not a movie you want to see, right? And then these college kids drive to a campground where they're gonna spend their spring break, right? And on their way there, they stop at a convenience store,
Yeah, that's so good.
which is inhabited by these total country rednecks and like big creeps. And then at that point, the movie switches perspectives, and it's told from Tucker and Dale's perspectives. And they're actually like really nice guys.
Yeah.
And it ends up the college kids are just assholes.
Yeah.
And then the movie does something later on that kind of takes away from it, as far as the backstory, how the one guy was the son of the other guy.
Oh yeah.
It didn't need that. That didn't need to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like Sandra Bullock's entire backstory in Gravity.
I guess it didn't.
Yes.
I guess it didn't need to happen, but that still goes into parody because that's how it always goes.
Sure.
Down.
Yeah, you could say that, but I think at that point you're
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of actors in roles that they're not quite known for, is Hot Fuzz has the guy from Game of Thrones, the Hound.
Does it really?
Yeah, and the only reason I know that is because I saw a little clip on Reddit, which was, or maybe just an image, I forget, but I saw it on Reddit where the girl Arya,
Mm-hmm.
she's talking to the actor. Like at this point, she had known him for years.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just rewatched Hot Fuzz the other day, and she's like, "You're that guy." And he says, "Yarp,"
Yeah.
like, 'cause that's him.
He's also.
Anyway, that's funny.
Have you seen the like Irish Springs commercial he does?
Yeah,
Like, it's really weird. Like he was like a male model.
Yeah.
in
Really?
that. Like the embodiment of manliness,
Mm.
and then
Interesting.
yeah, he's a good looking dude. He's just
yeah,
not for this.
And Khal Drogo is Aquaman.
Yeah,
going to be.
So there's that.
they gave
Yeah.
him blonde highlights to fit the lore. because the whole lore.
Who are you saying he should play? I forget.
The DC equivalent, which is, or the Marvel equivalent, which is
Waterman,
no
Waterman, yes.
Fishman.
I'm sorry. Anyways, like the
Merman.
Khal Drago eyebrows are the same eyebrows.
Yeah, but who cares about that, really?
I no, it's just funny how it's not that like he has to look like Aquaman. It's just that he looks so similar to the counterpart.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Like the Atlanteans are in Marvel, right? And he's an Atlantean. I know who you're talking about. I don't remember the name though.
God, I don't. You just got me in a bad moment. But yeah, no, he's just like perfect for the other role, and then he is not like he's fine, but it's just the whole point of Aquaman was he's supposed to be blonde haired. He stuck out because his like everyone's brunettes, and he's like his mom was blonde.
So just make all the mermaids blonde.
Yeah. I mean, well, no, they gave him like little blonde highlights, which I guess counts. I mean, I love him as Aquaman. It's just funny, like how they did that. The Submariner. God, it just hit me. I kept saying
That's so terrible. God,
but he's
terrible.
like the Submariner is like a good character. Like he's like
steely-eyed killer of the deep.
yeah.
Got
Where
it.
Aquaman's kind of like goes plays in with the fishes type. Like Submariner like is always anti. Like he's like a good person.
He's stabbing fish.
But yeah, like when people are like, you know, like you're going to do this, he's like all about his people. Like you're going to do what? No, I'm going to kill you. Like that's his like perspective on life. Whereas Aquaman's like saving people. That's boring.
Closing thought: if you like roller coasters, you'll like The Orphanage.
Yeah.
How about that?
Maybe The Orphanage will get me back into
Yeah,
scary movies.
Or, yeah, just to be clear though, I would only loosely even call this a horror. It is scary.
Well, no, that's what I was thinking. Maybe it will help me.
like a
it's
terrifying
bridge.
drama.
Okay, it bridges the gap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got it.
absolutely.
House of a Thousand Corpses could achieve a similar effect.
No, I don't.
That movie also keeps you stressed out all the time.
The thing with that movie is like I want to watch it because it's like my jam.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
No.
Oh,
but
man.
I can't because I just got completely turned off by the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah.
The Rob Zombie film.
I understand that, and like I would have been totally down for it if it wasn't for The Ring, but I just got completely separated from it.
Yeah. No, I think that movie might be a contributor to why I don't want to watch The Orphanage.
Really?
It's not, and I might watch The Orphanage because now it comes so highly recommended as the drama that I'd check it out. But like the first I saw House of a Thousand Corpses is big screen, big sound, dark room at home alone, not know anything about it, just on someone's recommendation. Hey, no, you gotta watch it.
Yeah.
So it's very stressful, and I don't like it's the type of stress where the movie ends and you're like, well, I like that, but
So if The Orphanage was coming out right now, what level would you recommend watching it at? Like
In theaters.
In theaters? Okay.
Absolutely.
There you go.
midnight showing.
Theater quality movie.
Midnight showing. Yeah, if you wanted to enhance the scare factor, sure.
And so
I
you
don't
never
know.
get anything spoiled.
Yeah.
I did go see The Dark Knight. That's my only midnight showing. The Dark Knight.
I don't think I've been to. No, I watched one of my wife's.
Oh, I've been to plenty of midnight
Movies at
showings.
midnight
I saw
showing.
Speed Racer at a midnight showing.
Wow, really?
I love Speed
Did you
Racer.
down a
man.
bottle of cough syrup first? Like,
No.
just go get down.
I love the cartoon a lot.
Yeah,
Oh, and how'd you like the Wachowski treatment?
It's good.
it's very perfect. Compare.
Yeah.
like it's a good. Like they should do anime because like if they can make Speed Racer look good, like I like Speed Racer. I don't love it, but I like Speed Racer, and they did a true honor to the.
Yeah, I love
genre.
their approach to it.
Yeah, I think
Honestly, yeah.
like they would be perfect for anime because like they get the things that are important in the anime and the things that you can take liberty with,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
I have actually seen. This is not quite a midnight screening, but I saw a late night screening of Rocky Horror Picture Show. You ever been to one of those?
No, I haven't.
I have not.
Yeah.
I feel like we're not old enough to go do that, or at least that.
Oh no, it's at least the one that I went to was mainly
We're not old or hipster enough.
20s,
Like you have to be one of the
like
other.
early 20s people. It's a kids movie.
Yeah, I know. I've seen the movie. I'm not prepared to engage in the ritual.
I don't think you would enjoy it, honestly. But here's what happened to me when I went there. Okay. This guy owned a theater, right? And every Friday night or something like that, he had a Rocky Horror Picture Show screening where when you walk in the door, you would buy, you can buy snacks and sodas, right?
Mhm.
And he had these kits with props from the film, which I may have seen the film before then. I don't even
Mhm.
remember if I had, but it had like a piece of toast and it
Mhm.
had a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah.
And as the movie's playing on screen, there are people on in front of the screen enacting the scenes.
Mhm.
And then whenever the film gets to a certain point, everyone will either shout something or they'll take something out of their prop bag and
Yeah.
use it. And not that it was even such an enjoyable experience, it's just I had never seen anything like that. And I think that was an experience to have.
So we've talked about your feeling about how a audience affects the quality of a movie, right?
Have
Like,
we?
yeah, like you feel like I go to watch a movie with an audience because I want to have that audience feel, and then you say, well, the movie should be able to stand alone on itself.
Sure.
Like I feel
That's
like
absolutely true.
I feel like that's a good example of. Did you feel like that enhanced the experience?
You could say that. I would say it made an entirely different experience. And the only reason it even sticks out in my mind, because I would have forgotten that movie a long time ago, is that it's the only time I've ever seen a movie like that
Right. Like
in that way.
just remember that when like you can use audience experience, like when Fast Five with an audience, best experience I've ever had. We were watching like it was the Super Bowl and cheering and making jokes like it was the Super Bowl. Loved the whole thing. Like Fast Five by itself is like but Fast Five day one and everyone's just like going, "Are you serious?" Is just the best experience. Like theater, it's like going to an event. That's why you gotta watch Fast Seven on a high volume day, like where everyone's gonna be in there and you're crammed in and everyone's just laughing.
I'm not into that though.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna
Where
make
It's
it.
awesome.
where everyone thinks they're a comedian.
No,
Yeah, I think I got a thing on that
it's
day.
not someone being a comedian. That's not what I'm talking about. It's everyone literally having the exact same reaction at the
Yeah.
same time. Like,
I got something close to that Star Wars Episode 1. That's the closest I've ever been to that.
yeah.
Where
e-
people were like, "What? No, come on." Just kidding. I
Uh,
don't imagine so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I may have had something like that as well with The Last Airbender,
Right.
where everyone was just so disappointed. There was one guy, I saw a video clip from the news somewhere. This guy had shaved his head and painted a blue arrow on the top of his scalp, and he was like, "I want my hair back." That was his reaction to that movie.
Nice. Yeah, that's exciting. All right, so theater level,
Absolutely theater level.
sweet.
If it ever gets re-released and you haven't seen it yet,
Yeah, go watch it.
that's maybe your best case scenario.
If I can muster the courage, I'll check it out.
Yeah, and you might have to pay money for it because I don't think it's streaming.